What are the 5 most asked questions? Has KBN paid you? No, they haven't paid me yet. So after what happened on Saturday, you've seen the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KBN. We are the finest television on Topstar channel 102. Or you can follow live our proceedings on KBN TV on Facebook and YouTube channel. It is the 19th of June 2021. Welcome. Top stories making headlines today. President Lungu honors KK. TCZ suspends physical submission of applications. PF and UPND sign violent-free accord. Accounts commit suicide over date. Zambia records 1,806 new cases, COVID-19 cases. In international news, Iran elections guidelines rise to become president. In sports news, sports league battles to the end. Away from the news, ladies and gentlemen, we are human beings. We have to get paid. Unfortunately, on KBN, we haven't been paid. People are getting instruments on KBN. Tapero Josimata, Sharon, and everybody else haven't been paid, including myself. We have to get paid.
3 hours later.
Ask me, Kavinda, you work, you're on TV. How come you don't have money, man? I don't have money. Kennedy hasn't paid me. Kennedy Mambwe, he's a pastor. He hasn't paid me, bro. He hasn't. That guy hasn't paid me. He hasn't paid me. So right now I'm at Garden, as you can see, that's Bijoka Business Center. People are drinking. There's a bus, there's a woman, everybody else. My boss hasn't paid me. I'm walking home, going on foot.
Here's how the story starts. It's 2004, and I'm growing up in Chikankata, Hampande village to be precise. For those who don't know what Chikankata is, it's in southern province, Mazabuka district. At that time, now Chikankata is a district, but at that time it wasn't a district. So it was Chikankata mission, and I was staying in Hampande village. And I still remember very well because this story changed my perception about life. So it's the 24th of December 2004. I'm in grade 4. And in Christmas Eve was very important for a person like me because it's the day that everybody, wore new clothes. Lucky for me, my parents were not really poor. They were not rich, but they were not really poor. They would afford to buy us new clothes from head to toe. And I appreciate my dad, Mr. Teddy Galimina, my mom, Brenda Siazele. Brenda, I know Siazele Galimina. She's always been a fighter, and she's always taught me to stand for what I believe. I love you, Mom. You're the greatest hero in my life. So it's Christmas Eve. It's the 24th of December 2004. And I'm looking after goats. I'm so young. I'm a short boy. Like literally, I was short. I was short, tiny, and everything. And people who know me from my childhood will tell you that. So I'm looking after goats. And this guy who's older than me comes to me and says, Gavinda, I want you to look after cattle. Now, you should understand the difference between cattle and goats. Goats, goats, and cattle is cows. So, my dad would say, if you go in the bush to look after goats, you can go at 10. By 14, you should be back, or 13, and you're done for the day. So this guy comes to me and says, Gavinda, I want you to go and look after. Okay, I'm already looking after goats. And he says, I want you, whilst you're looking after your goats, to look after my cattle. At the end of the day, at 1700 hours, I'll come back and I'll give you money. Now, why is this day very important for me? It's Christmas Eve. So we would go to the market and we would watch people buy stuff in our new clothes. It was very important. Now, why was Christmas so important? It's the day that everybody wore their new clothes. It's the day that if you pass number 1, you showed the world to say, okay, now I'm happy and I passed number 1. I've got new clothes. I've got a new bike. I've got this new thing. So I was looking after goats, and my father said, look, just go from 10 hours to 14 hours. Come and bath, wear the new clothes that we got you, and then you can go to the market and you can watch everybody else. I'm so excited. So I go to look after goats. And this guy who's older than me comes and says, I want you to look after Keto for me. And Keto is the whole day. You look after Keto the whole day. Goats is just maybe 10 to 14, 10 to 15, 11 to 15, and then you're done. But for Keto cows, it's the whole day. I'm growing up in the village. So I agree, because somebody is going to pay me at 17. And he even goes a step further and says, look, instead of you being like your friends who just go to the market and tell everybody to say you're just watching people, you have money to spend, to buy lollipops, to buy whatever you want to buy. So I agree to look after his Keto. At 17 hours, the guy comes back and he says, Ndalumba, thank you very much for looking after my Keto. He gets his Keto and starts walking. I ask him, can you give me the money you promised to give me? The guy refuses. The guy literally refuses. I walked to him. I wanted to fight him, but he was so big. He hit me one coffee, and I can never forget. And I cannot ever forget for a lot of reasons. Number one is because I was always a crybaby who would always tell my elder brother, Buju, to say, this one has done this to me, and he would always defend me. But he was not there that day. I went home crying. By the time I was getting home, everybody was so happy that they didn't even mind why I was crying, including my mom. And I've never told anybody this story. Now, I think about that guy every day. Not because he was the first person who beat me up without me telling my brother or my dad or my mom. No. I think about him every day because he was the first person who ever made me work for free. 2004, the 24th of December 2004, I think about that day every day because a grown-up person convinced me in the morning to say, can you work for me? Can you look after my cows for me? I'll come back at 17. And then at 17, I will give you money. My friends were at the market showing off their new clothes, seeing people buying things at the market on Christmas Day, eating Christmas on the eve. I was in the bush looking after Keto. And the person comes back, doesn't pay me. I try to approach him, he punches me, and I can't tell my brother, I can't tell my mom, I can't tell my dad because they're so busy being excited about Christmas. I'll never forget that day. It was the first day I worked for somebody for free. They promised they were going to pay, and they never paid. Now I look at my son who's 1 year, 6 months, and every day I ask myself, how many people are going to make my son work for free? That is how everything started, and I always think about that. Now, it has happened in my life a lot of time. I'll tell you, it has happened. I've worked for people for free. I don't mind provided we agree at the start of the contract. You're going to work for free. I'm going to work for free. I always agree and I live to that accord. Those who know me when I was at Chikankata Community Radio Station will tell you I worked there for free. They never paid me, not even a coin, but I was committed. Why? Because that was the agreement. I worked there for free. Joma Piggy, thank you very much for being live. I think you're one of the people that I worked with at Chikankata Community Radio Station. You would agree with me on that. Vanson Jomba, you're also somebody else. You would agree with me on that. I worked there for free because we agreed I'm working for free. And I don't mind. At CBC, I worked for free. I agreed to work for free for a certain period of time until certain things changed, which I can't talk about in this video. But I worked for free when we agreed I was doing attachments and everything. And I worked for free. And I want to say thank you, Mr. Kaumba. You know, you gave me my first lessons about journalism in life. Thank you very much, Mr. Kaumba. I appreciate it. I always respect you. Now, let's get back to what happened on Saturday. What happened on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen? The 5 most asked questions. Okay, what are the 5 most asked questions? Has KBN paid you? No, they haven't paid me yet. So after what happened on Saturday, you've seen the video. My uncle called me later on. Uncle K, Uncle Kazungu Siazele. He's my inspiration. He's my big brother. He's my uncle. He's my friend. He's my everybody. That's the one person I always listen to. So he called me and said, I want you to come to Kafue because we have to talk about what is happening. So early in the morning on Sunday, I left Lusaka. I went to Kafue. And I switched off my phone. I didn't want to listen to everybody. Sunday, I was off on phone and everything. So on on Saturday, on Monday, when I switched on my phone, somebody called me. I can't mention the name. They said I shouldn't mention the name. Somebody called me and said, I've sent something to KBN. Okay, I'm going to send something to KBN. Can you come back to Lusaka and get it? Then I said, no, I'm in transit actually going to Chikankata because my mom is sick and worried of me. So I'm going to Chikankata. So when I come back in Lusaka on Thursday, meaning yesterday, we can communicate and you can give me what you've saved for me as payment. So I came back yesterday. Nobody called me from KBN. Today, all morning, afternoon, the same person I told you about called me and said, has anybody called you from KBN? I said, nobody has called me from KBN. And I'm waiting for an official communication from KBN. And nobody has done that. Then he said, okay, so I sent something to KBN. He doesn't work for KBN. He said, I sent something to KBN because I know Mr. Mambwe. And I want you to be sorted out. And then if you're willing, which I'm willing to apologize. I'm willing to apologize. And if I'm paid by money, I'm willing to apologize for what I did. I'm willing to apologize. And he said, okay, so I sent something to KBN. I hope they pay you. But nobody paid me, called me. So I texted Petty Chanda. Asked her to say, when are you going to, I hear you're supposed to give me some money. That was the exact text message. I hear you're supposed to give me her money. Then she said, no, can we meet on Monday? I told her, no, on Monday I'm busy. I'm traveling out of Lusaka again. So she said tomorrow she's going to call me at 10 hours. Which I'm waiting for her to call me at 10 hours. If she doesn't call me at 10 hours, then I will know the way forward. Because I know somebody who doesn't work for KBN, somebody who's not in KBN management has sacrificed some little money so that I can be settled. It's not the full amount I'm supposed to get paid. It's just some little money. And I just want to be settled so that at least I can give the baby, my baby mama, and then I can done with at least a little bit of my worries. That is what is there. So has KBN paid me my money? No. Have they communicated? No. They haven't officially communicated to me. Only somebody who doesn't work for KBN communicated and say, okay, I've sent money to KBN. They are supposed to pay you, which they haven't done. So I'll be waiting for a call tomorrow at 10 hours. That is how the things start. So I haven't been paid by KBN as of yet. It's been 6 days. I haven't been paid by KBN of yet. Rumor of the ground is probably everybody else at KBN hasn't been paid. That's okay. I'm not sure about that. I usually speak of things I'm sure about. But from what I've asked around, they haven't been paid. If they have been paid, maybe they were paid today after 15 because I asked before 15. So far, nobody has been paid at KBN. That is the first thing I want to say. Were you drunk, Gavinda Garimina? No, I wasn't drunk on TV. So I reported at KBN at 7:20. That's the time I reached at KBN. My show was supposed to start at 8 hours. Unfortunately, the guy in transmission delayed to come. So we started the show at somewhere like, is it 8:20 or 8:30? That means I was already at the office an hour earlier than the show. What time did I get drunk? At 9 hours, I had another show, live on TV with Bwezan, who was actually in Solwezi. So we did a live TV session. So I wasn't drunk at that time. 15 hours, I had another show. The person in transmission wasn't there. I should say this. He wasn't there. He wasn't feeling well. He had a running stomach. So what I did is I went in transmission, played a repeat of my show. Myself. I'm supposed to only be a presenter. But I even went in transmission and played a repeat of my show. And then they say I was drunk. So at 19:30, when I was casting that news, I wasn't drunk. How many people were there in the studio? There were 4 people in the studio. There was Edwin, there was Tutwa, and a new lady who's working at KBN. I'm not really sure about her name. If anybody says I was drunk or they smelled alcohol, then maybe that's how I smell. Otherwise, no. I wasn't drunk. People that have known me will tell you I never refuse when I'm drunk. I'll always be open and say, this time I'm drunk. I wasn't drunk. That day I had gone to play pool, yes, I accept. Petty texted me. Petty was like, I used to at the office. I was like, no, I'm actually playing pool. I think around 13. I was bored and hungry. So I went in the Kombon Wangwa just to look for food. Came back, started playing pool. And she texted me. I played pool. At 15, I went to play the live show because the person in transmission wasn't there. I even did a step further. I went in the newsroom to try and help the people in the newsroom edit the news. So the story of them saying I was drunk is not true. That one I've denied it, Mr. Mambwe. I'm sorry. I've never disrespected you like this. But Mr. Kennedy Mambwe, I'm so sorry. I wasn't drunk. After the news, when Edwin cut the news, I left the studio. And then I met my friends. And then they had watched everything and they asked me, Kawinda, what has happened? So I explained to them. And then they bought alcohol and that's when I got drunk. Zambia, wow. Now this question is going to injure a lot of people. This question is going to injure a lot of journalists because I'm going to be honest with the truth. I'm literally going to be honest with the truth. Now it's going to injure a lot of people. People are going to hate me. Journalists in Zambia will not stand by me anymore, but I'm going to be honest. My favorite saying is, if you don't read newspapers, if you don't watch TV, if you don't listen to radio, you are uninformed. I always say this. People who know me who realize I always say this. If you don't read newspapers, you don't watch TV, you don't listen to the radio, you are uninformed. But if you watch TV, you listen to the radio, you read newspapers, you are misinformed. I've always tried to discover why somebody would think of that, which is the truth. And the answer was simple. Journalists in Zambia like myself will follow where there is money. We call it transport allowance. If somebody is paying me 100 kwacha for you to cover their story, every journalist in Zambia will go. We have three types of sources. Three types of sources. Source number one, sources that pay money. They don't give a best story. They are not the best sources. They give a wrong story. But everybody covers them. Why? Because they pay money. Politicians are some of them. That's why every station in Zambia will cover politicians, because they pay money. We call it transport allowance. That's how journalists in Zambia survive. That is one thing you didn't know. The way journalists in Zambia survive is through transport allowance. These are sources that pay money. They'll pay you 100 kwacha. They'll pay you a 50 kwacha. They'll buy you alcohol. They'll give you food. We call it transport allowance. That's how, as journalists in Zambia, we survive. And you cannot dispute that. Journalists will hate me. Yes, hate me. And I've always spoken this. So journalists will hate me. We call it transport allowance. These are sources that pay you money for covering them. They will give you food. They'll buy you alcohol. They'll transport you to wherever they want you to go, and then they'll pay you. That is the first type of a source. Then we have sources that we call the easy source, desktop journalists. You're seated at the office, and then you just make a call and say, what is trending? Okay, what is trending is Gavin Dagalimina went on live TV and said this. What is your comment? Then they give a comment about it. They give a comment, they send you a video like I'm doing, and you cast it on news. And then we also have, the third, actually sources in Zambia. The third sources are the people, genuine people that have got the story, but we can't cover them, so they have to fight themselves for them to be covered. Those are people that will go on protests and everything else, because they can't be covered at the end of the day. So there's what we call Zanis Diary. For you who don't know, Zanis Diary is a WhatsApp group, or a group where what is happening is posted on. So almost every journalist is in that WhatsApp group. So when you go in the morning at the office, you have 3 stories that you want to cover, but then there's the Zanis Diary. Usually on Zanis Diary is where the stories that have got money are on. So you always ask, what is on Zanis Diary? What is on Zanis Diary? What is on Zanis Diary? That's how, as journalists, we survive on. Unfortunately, I had to tell you, that is how Zambian journalists survive on. The reason you are misinformed is because Zambian journalists are not paid. So they survive on transport allowance. Hence, they go to stories that have got money. What is next for my career? That is the question. I'm going to be me. I you can't take away my education. You can't take away my education. So I'll continue using my education to speak to the Zambians out there. If I don't get a job, I'll manage to survive. I think I've survived enough, man. I've not been paid, so I've survived. So I'll continue surviving. That is what is there. I'll continue surviving. If somebody wants to hire me, I'll appreciate. Please, hire me. I don't have a job. I don't have a job. Yeah, I don't have a job. But I'll speak later on about this job and everything. But yeah, if somebody wants to hire me, I will appreciate. Thank you very much. I'm committed. When I sign a contract, I'm going to do just that. I just need you to live to the end of the contract. That is what is next for actually, my career. Did you plan for this? Was it comedy? I do comedy, for those who don't know. I've gone on TV pretending to be drunk, and then I've said, no, you're calling me, let's cut the news, let me go there. I've done personal ads for Zambia Breweries, Mosi Lager to be precise. They never paid me. I did it for fun. So where did I plan for that? No, I actually didn't plan. I woke up in the morning going for work. The first person I called was Sharon Kalimbola. I was so excited. I always call her when I'm excited. I was so happy. I call her. She always brightens up my day. So she's the first person I called. Now, after I did my shows, I went to play pool and everything. I called my boss, Mr. Kennedy Mambwe. Boss, how are you? I'm the oldest worker at your company. People are asking me, when are we going to get paid? The boss said, no, I'm not feeling too well. Yeah, I'm not feeling too well, so we can't talk and everything. Then I called the wife, who's the human resource. Unfortunately, that conversation with the wife is what changed how the evening went. So I didn't plan it, actually. It's just that when I went to cast news, I was so furious, so hungry and angry. Three things actually. Furious, hungry, and angry. That is what led to what happened. So I didn't plan it. It wasn't comedy. It happened. I wish I get paid, man. I wish I get paid. My money is not even enough, but I just wish I get paid. Yeah, did I plan it? No, I did not plan it. It just happened. I made a call, which maybe I shouldn't have done. I shouldn't have called maybe that call. Things wouldn't have gone the way it are. So it wasn't comedy. It happened live on TV. For you who might know, who want to know, it happened live on TV. How have your parents and Mr. Kennedy Mambwe reacted? Okay, this one is a very interesting question. My parents. So I went home on Monday. I went to cafe on Sunday. Uncle K was cool. He's always my uncle. He will never judge me. My uncle will never judge me before he listens to my story. He always advise me after listening to my story because he's my uncle. That's his job. So we talked with my uncle and we agreed on certain things which I can disclose to you. So Monday morning, afternoon, Shaft Muntanga, thank you very much. You gave me a 50. Shaft, you gave me money. I went to Chikankata. Thank you very much, Shaft. You gave me money for transport to go to Chikankata. I went to Chikankata, and the first person I met when I went to Chikankata was my mom. Now, my mom has always known I was going to stand for what I believe in because I'm like her, and that is who she is. That is who my mom is. She always believes in doing what is right regardless of what people are going to say. So she's caught into crossfires because people are advising her otherwise. But deep down I know what she believes is I did the right thing. Like I believe myself and a few others. So thank you very much, mom. I know you can't say it. I know you have to stand with what people are telling you. But I know you. You're my mom. You're my mom. I know you. So thank you, mom, for standing through this and not making it a big issue like mostly you do. My dad is worried that I will never get a job. And I understand. He's my dad. He has to worry. He spent too much. I went to Runsango University 4 years. And you know how expensive, not really expensive, but you know how it costs to send somebody to a university to study a degree in communication and journalism. And then they ruin their career in a clip of 2 minutes. So my dad is worried. Literally, he's worried. We talked about the other issues at home I can't talk about here. So we talked about them, and he was worried that I might never get a job. And it's my dad, it's his job to worry about me. The same way I'm worried about my son, it's my dad's job to worry about me. So that is how my dad reacted. He was worried, he was sympathetic. He asked me, are you going to get a job anywhere? What is the next step for you? What are you going to do next? How are you going to survive in Lusaka going forward? And many other questions. So he was worried. My mom just believed I'm gonna make it one way or another, and that is what my mom has always done. She's not really happy about the whole scenario. She wishes it had happened differently, but she believes I'm gonna survive in one way or another, and that's one thing I appreciate about my mom. My dad is more of the worried type of person because he spent money to take me to school. My mom is more of the type who believes that something is gonna come up of his son, and I appreciate my parents. So those were the reaction of my parents. Now the reaction of Pastor Kennedy Mambwe. Now I want to say Pastor Kennedy Mambwe has always been my hero. Ndopu Jess Sindo, you tell me, man, you've always advised me, man, don't believe in him, don't do it. Because several times it disappointed. No. But I've always believed in him. You know, I've always believed in him that things will be fine. Things will just get better. I've always believed in Pastor Kennedy Mambwe. So he called me on Sunday evening, on Saturday evening after the news. Unfortunately, that was after I went live and my battery was like 5%. And you know how these phones work. If it's 5%, it's a Samsung Galaxy type thing. You can't pick up. You can't. It would be ringing, but the time you want to pick up, it will say battery low and everything. So when I got home, I called him. He said never call me. So I've not called him. He hasn't called me. That is how he reacted. I've not called him. He hasn't called me. Yeah. Bonus question. How much are you owed to? Wow. People are speculating. No, he's owed 800 kwacha. He's owed 2,000 kwacha. He's owed 21,000 kwacha. He's owed 13,000 kwacha. Okay, I can't tell you how much exactly I'm owed to. But I'll tell you that I have 2 contracts that are running with KBN TV. First contract, I was a full-time worker at KBN TV. A full-time. Report 8 hours, knock off 17. Read cast news, then you knock off at 22 or 21. Do other programs. So I was a full-time worker. Then my landlord chased me in the house I was staying. Literally, she actually came at my workplace to want her money. So I quit. That is what happened. I quit. I wasn't paid the money I was owed to. I went to Chikankata, survived a little bit, came back in Lusaka to hustle, and I managed to survive. I found a job elsewhere. So after I found a job elsewhere, Pastor Kennedy Mambwe called me and said, look, I want you to come to KBN. I have now sponsors of shows and I want you to do certain shows for me at KBN TV, which I accepted. So I went to KBN. I asked him, what about the money you owe me? He said, no, I'm going to pay. Maybe not once, but I would pay when I have. So we agreed. Okay. And he was like, no, can you be full-time? I need you to be full-time. I need you to... I said, I can't be full-time because I don't want the same scenario to happen. I just want you to pay me when you can. And we agreed. Unfortunately, he paid me for like 2 months after I started that contract. And then we are back to the same scenario of where he doesn't pay me. So he owes me money from my first contract when I was full-time. And he owes me money from my second contract now that I'm part-time. I can't tell you the exact figures, but this is what is there. He owes me money from 2 contracts. The time I was full-time and the time I was part-time. I just need to get paid. I don't even want a 6-pin or what. I just want even a 2-pin. Give me a 3,000. Give me a 4,000. Let me manage to survive in Lusaka and I'll let this issue go. But he hasn't done that to me. He hasn't done that to me. That is what I'm asking for, ladies and gentlemen. So that is how much. I can't tell you exactly how much I'm owed to, but what I can tell you is I have 2 contracts that are running with KBN. My first contract, I was full-time, I wasn't paid. My second contract, part-time, I wasn't paid. Now, there was a memo that KBN released. You were drunk. I've already answered that question. Somebody's asking. I wasn't drunk. Am I part-time? Yes, I'm part-time. But I also have a full-time contract that I wasn't paid for. So why didn't KBN address that as well? Now, what is my relationship between me and Mr. Kennedy Mambwe? Mr. Kennedy Mambwe is my hero, bro. He's somebody who's living my dream. He's a man I look up to. He's living my dream. I will always treasure him. He stood up and started something that most Zambians are scared to start, a TV station. So I appreciate you, Pastor. But I want you to pay. Pay KBN workers to start with. Pay me. Pay me, bro. Pay me. Pay Pay people you haven't paid. People are coming on board. Pay Tapelo. Pay him. Pay everybody else you haven't paid. It's simple as that. Pay them. Appreciate the effort people are putting in. Just pay them. Pay Miriam. Pay him. Pay David. Pay him. Ndopu is also complaining. If you owe him, pay him. If you don't, then at least next time you employ somebody, pay him. Just pay. If you're going to run a company, at least be willing to pay people. Zambian journalists in Zambia, let's fight to get paid. How do you feel you're covering people that are striking because they're not paid and you're not paid yourself? And you're quiet. It's not fair. You're not being fair to yourselves. You're not being fair to us. Pay Ndopu. If you owe him, pay him. Pay everybody you owe, man. It's simple as that. People, it's not about you owing people 200 or 300. It's about you paying them. Just pay them, man. Pay them. You are a rich person, Mr. Mambo. You are a rich person. We cannot dispute that. You are a rich person. Look, like there was a story I shared. You say you campaigned for PF in 2016. That means you're a rich person. To us, a 500 is money that will carry us for 2 months. To you, a 500 is money for fuel. Give us our 500, Kwacha. Give me my little money. Give me my little money. Give somebody else their little money. So that we survive with that little money. Because that is how we are going to survive. Pay me my little money, man. Pay me. No, it's not even a lot of money. It's not like, it's just a little money. Just pay me. To you, to a person like me, my friends and everybody, it's a lot of money. To a person like you, Pastor Kennedy Mamwe, the way you talk about yourself, and I cannot disclose that. I cannot tell this in public. The way you talk about yourself, it's a little money. Just pay, man. Am I asking for too much? Just pay. Now, was there a better way that I should have addressed this issue? Yes, I tried. Just pay, man. Yeah, so I've answered the 5 basic questions. Anybody with a question? I'm waiting to answer now. If somebody has got a question, I'll answer. I promise. If somebody has got a question, I'll give you 2 minutes. We have to be done by now. I think I've spoke for 2 minutes. It was supposed to be 5 minutes. Well, oh yeah. By the way, I'm not really upset. Am I upset? No. I mean, I've got a son to live up to, so I cannot kill myself. Yeah, I cannot kill myself over being pissed. I have a son to go and smile to. So if somebody has got a question, if somebody has got a comment, I'll read your comment. Ndopu says, yes, but I left after 1 month. Chipomonga says, please pay Ndopu. J Nash too. Brand Bond says, let them pay you. Thank you very much. Tuambo says, even you, yeah, even me, I haven't been paid, bro. But I hope tomorrow will change. Petty, I hope you communicate to me at 10 hours. Jasper Penga says, I see you too in your beautiful suit. Okay. Now, Jasper Chiova says, Dongeto, I see you, and everybody else. So, yeah. Anybody with a question? Njanji, thank you very much. You've always been a brother to me. You're always following what is happening. Thank you very much, my guy. Just here to support your page, Controversial Man. Thank you, Daryl, the lady engineer. Kaingo, bring me live. I am Ugandan journalist. Okay. Wow. Okay, you can watch the video later on. Tuambo says, what's the way forward after that scenario? I don't know. KBN hasn't contacted me, Tuambo. I wish they contact me. If they contact me, I can tell you what is the way forward. But they haven't contacted me. They haven't paid me. So we are still at 0 as it stands. And, somebody's asking to say, why were you quiet this week? Okay, that's an interesting question. I was in Kankata. I went to eat my shima prepared by mom. I usually think well when my mom prepares shima. So I was in Kankata for a week thinking KBN would contact me, but they didn't. So I'm back in Osaka now. And yeah, that is how things stand. So I'm going off in the next minute. Thank you very much for those who are online. I'm here at WhatsApp. Okay, this one is saying here on CNN Africa. Okay, I'm gonna check that out after the live video. I'm gonna check that out. Oh yeah. This one just trending. Okay, am I trending in a good way? Do I need to apologize to KBN? Wow. Okay, now this one is an interesting question. I have no problem. I have no problem to apologize to the world. I didn't use the right platform. If they paid me my money, by now, my little money, I'm going to apologize vividly because I feel sorry to what I'm doing to KBN. KBN is my home. You know, I started that, that's the wrong statement. That's a very wrong statement. But I was there from the first day the station started. I was there. Ndopu agree with me. Not Mr. Mtonga, some other man also. I think he left. You agree with we were there from the first day it started. I've been there. I've sacrificed. I just want to be paid. Then I'll apologize and we'll go past this issue. So I'll wait tomorrow. If I'm called tomorrow at 10 hours, then I'll apologize and everything. What will happen if KBN doesn't pay you? Maybe I'll go and get a camera as well or a laptop. This is Chikuta. Thank you, my guy, for coming through. People are getting, I said instruments on news. I was quite upset. Sorry with my English. I was quite upset. People are getting, people are getting stuff at KBN. Maybe I'll also go and just get a camera, a laptop or something so that, you know, the money I'm owed to can be paid. Can you go back to KBN if you were called? Yes, I can go back. I love KBN. Do I? Okay. Depending. If Kennedy told me I'm going to give you a 6 months contract and I'm paying you in advance, yes, I'll go back to KBN. No problem. I would literally go back to KBN if I was paid in advance for what I'm owed to. So I would go back to KBN, yes. If I was paid in advance on what I'm owed to. So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being online. Ndop has always bring something, and he's brought something up interesting. Zambian journalists, Zambian media houses are not calling you on board. Why? Because I'm speaking the truth. I'm speaking what people are going through. I'm speaking what people are going through, so they can't interview me because I'm going to wire them live on TV. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's enjoy the evening. Feel free. Don't hate me. If you've got a problem, please inbox me. I'll answer to you privately. I'll be willing to answer to you like I've done to everybody. Like I said, Sunday and Monday, I was quite upset. So for those who texted me, I was rude. I might even have insulted. But if you text me now, you ask me what is happening, I'll answer you openly. And I won't insult, I promise. I'll answer you openly.